If you like what I do here, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and click that like button. Really helps our channel grow. Let's get into the video. Hey guys, Nathyn Brendan Masters. Before we jump into the videos, you know how we do it. This is Hexcraft Mechanics issue 1. It's on Indiegogo right now. This is my urban fantasy action horror comic. If you like stuff like Supernatural, Buffy, Angel, Blade, Constantine, you like that type of material, even stuff like Underworld, things like that, you're going to love Hexcraft Mechanics. Check it out on Indiegogo. Check out the art. Check out the story. We're 30% funded with 30 days to go, and I know there's enough people in this community that like this kind of material that we can make this happen. As a matter of fact, that's going to lead me into my review today, Trixie Cain, Blood Reaper. This is a Comicsgate book written by former Comicsgater Nasser Rabadi. If you have been a Comicsgater for a while, you know Nasser. Everybody knows Nasser. He left for his own reasons. But at the end of the day, this is a great comic book, and I want to talk about it. So let's jump into it. Now, I might as well just start off with saying you guys already know my bias toward this kind of material. I like this kind of stuff. And I really liked the setup for this. I like everything from the production and, I mean, the art. There are things that he did in this book that I know for a fact I'll be doing in mine, particularly how he set up the signature page. You can definitely expect to see that kind of thing in my next book. The production quality on this book is professional. I know this printer. I've used this printer before, and they do A+ work. The book is drawn by Sean Langley and, of course, written by Nasser himself. The letterer is Joey Turnus. And let's get into this. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, once you see this artwork, this is what I like for this kind of book, okay? One of the things, like with my art, I try to mix it a little bit between this kind of thing and the kind of, image type. I try to mix it up, but a book like this is what the art should look like, especially a black and white book. I personally would have liked to see some ink wash with this as opposed to just being straight black and white, but the art itself, I love it. This takes me back to the old indie comics I was reading, even back during the Image time. I was reading Image, but I was reading a lot of black and white indies. And I like this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole book, but I want you to get a feel for this art. This art is beautiful. It's visceral at times. I like this part where he's chasing the guy. And this is like just a 3-panel setup. He tells a lot of story with a little. So you're not getting a ton of panels on a page. You're getting anywhere from 3 to 4 panels. Sometimes you'll get a 5th panel. You get stuff like this. And there's no dialogue here. There's no dialogue in the fight scene. Now, even with myself, there are people giving you have somebody give a soliloquy during a fight scene. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to you. And by the way, let me tell you about the Declaration of Independence. And, but this is silent. This is just, you're in the middle of a fight. You don't have time to talk. You got to think fast, and you have time to kick butt or get your butt kicked. That's what's happening in this fight. And this is a great supernatural fight. Like I said, I'm not going to show the whole thing, but you pretty much get an idea of what this looks like. This is a 3-way battle between a vampire hunter, a vampire, and a werewolf. So Trixie, like my character Victor Locke, is a demon hunter. She comes from a family of demon hunters. Now, I don't think she has any superpowers, but that does not stop her from stabbing the hell out of a vampire. And she doesn't just stab a vampire with a stake. She will choke that vampire, just beat the living daylights out of a vampire. I'm getting the idea she's not fond of vampires. This first kill was vicious. Damn. Yeah, a lot of that kind of happens. Not at all happy with the vampire population. But then again, she kind of has a reason not to be, and that's because a vampire killed her mom. And it doesn't stop there, and I'm going to drop a spoiler warning in here. So if you don't want this spoiled for you, you might want to stop watching the review right here. But for the rest, her dad makes a deal with a demon to bring her mom back. And this is before she was born. So her dad does that deal. And what ends up happening, of course, as deals would with demons, the demon said 9 years, it's going to return, and wants a soul for a soul. And this is the type of stuff fairy tales and things are made of. And I mean like the old school Grimm's fairy tales and stuff like that. There's always some demon's going to come back, or some evil wizard, something's going to come back and claim a child or somebody. And wouldn't you know it, he comes back and kills the mom again. And Trixie sees this happen, and she hasn't forgiven her dad for making that deal in the first place. Even though if he hadn't made that deal, she wouldn't exist, because she was conceived after that deal was made. So she's not talking to her father, and she doesn't read the mail that he sends her. And he sends her letters, she doesn't read them. Or maybe she does, and, we get the idea that typically she doesn't. But this time she does go back and, she tears the letter up at first, but she does go back and read it, and he needs her help. He's being held captive, and she goes to kick some vampire ass, which she does, and she's pretty damn effective at it, I might add. Especially for a human hunter. Again, I'm assuming she has no superpowers, but hey, it's a urban fantasy comic, so you never know. It's a cliffhanger ending. I'm not going to ruin it for you. I would say that I do want to see a book 2 of this. If they make a book 2, I will back it. And I would like to see a reprint of this with some ink wash or grayscales, but that might not be their aesthetic. So if that's not their aesthetic, it is what it is. But I would like to see the continuing story of Trixie Cain. And if they make another one, I hope they keep the team here. This is a great team. So there you have it, guys. That's Trixie Cain. People have asked me to review more comic books, and I will be reviewing various books that I get. Again, most of them will probably be Comicsgate, or at least indie comics that I like. I don't know if I'll be reviewing any Marvel or DC. If I get something that I really, really like and want to review it, I will do so. But really looking at mostly reviewing Comicsgate books, or at least people surrounding Comicsgate. How about that? Comicsgate adjacent, whatever. There is one book that I'm probably going to review later. I don't know if it'll be today. It might be tomorrow sometime, but I'm not really gonna review it that much. I'll give it a shout out, and I want to do that because it's by a friend of the channel, and it's a manga comic, and I plan on doing a manga sometime next year, or maybe 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. So I do want to shout that book out, but I'll do that next time, give it a little bit by itself. But other than that, guys, don't forget about my book Hexcraft Mechanics. Like I said before, we're 30% back, then we have 30 days to go. My story is also an urban fantasy story revolving around demon hunters. So if you like Trixie, you'll probably like my story too. I see an opportunity for a team up here if Nasser would be interested. But back Hexcraft Mechanics issue 1. Check out the art, check out the story, back it today. And if you ordered Epitaph Bread and Salt and you live in the States, you should have your books by now. If you don't have your books, I probably have them. I have the last 5 orders, and I'm going to be mailing those off Monday. So you should have them in a few days. Other than that, you guys take it easy. Nathyn Brandon Masters. Awesome.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die, looking through the eyes of a brand new life. And so just